Welcome in then to the latest edition of Extra Time. Thank you as always for your questions. Craig is with us.
Yeah.
Kieran, you didn't ask to go to the toilet. You're learning.
I knew you was going to bring that up.
Just go. He's gone before, hasn't he?
Robbo is with us as well. Robbo, the first question is for you. Yesterday, somebody put together the best starting 11 of the ESPN FC team. You were not in it. What disrespect.
Well, I've always been a good squad player, I would say. So, I mean, the only thing that I would say is if Don Hutchinson gets in there as the holding midfield player, I mean, that's absolutely shocking. I mean,
I knew you'd have to go.
I just can't believe that. You know, I should have given up 25 years ago, I think.
I've got to be honest. I'm not sticking the ball in the channel with those two up front.
No. There's not a lot of running going on.
You'd stick that ball in the channel and they'll do what Ali McCoy used to do, stand and look at you.
Yes.
And you've clipped it 40 yards over the top and it's gone to nobody.
Would you have the fish or Fjordhoff?
That would be a good race, wouldn't it? Ali Moreno and Fjordhoff.
I'm not sure if a race could be the word you would use, is it? It would certainly be a battle.
Robbo must have been injured when this team.
Robbo, you could be the manager, could you? Get the best out of that side?
I was probably injured at the time. Mind you, I'd like to know, was Kieran Gibbs playing as a normal left-back or that one that I saw so often that just went forward and didn't bother defending? Would he do any defending? He's talking about Alexander Arnold being a great right-back. Was it Kieran Gibbs? You know.
Wow, goodness me. There's a question about your beef, actually, Robbo, later on.
Oh, dear.
Start, bench or sell, Craig, these ESPN FC subjects. Mbappe, Kane or Ballon d'Or?
Start? What do you mean start?
So which
I've done
one?
this before, I can't remember.
Okay.
So the sale is the one that I hate the most?
Yes.
Okay. So I'd start the Ballon d'Or.
Yeah.
Because I can sort of just brush that off.
Right.
I'd bench Kane.
Oh, it's Mbappe.
And I'd sell the Mbappe story because it's absolutely driving me nuts already.
Right, yeah. It's only been a week.
Driving me nuts twice last week.
Twice last week, yes. He said nothing. Does an Enzo and Caicedo midfield push Chelsea back to a top 4 place, Robbo?
Not just by himself. I think they've got to get their tactics right. They've got to make sure they get rid of the right players. They get the right players on the field. Yes, he's a very good player, playing alongside Enzo Fernandez. He can receive the ball. He can twist and turn away from challenges. He knows where his next pass is. He's agile as well. It makes them a better team. But they've got to get rid of a whole load of players, get a shape that they know what they're trying to do, and start from there. But I still think they're going to struggle to get top 4 at the moment.
Well, who puts the ball in the back of the net?
Well, as always, yeah, that's the problem with Chelsea.
I'm worried. Is it just me? I'm now worried for my other favourite team, Brighton Hove Albion.
What if Caicedo left?
McAllister's gone. Caicedo's left.
Yeah.
I'm sure there'll be people sniffing around. Estupinian.
Yeah. They signed James Milner.
James Milner, yeah, to beef up the squad.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, he can play alongside Eric Lamette. He can play alongside Lallana, can't he? He's one of the oldest midfield players in the league.
But their recruitment, I know we're not talking about Brighton, but I'm going to. Their recruitment over the last few years has been tremendous.
Yeah, very good. Very good. And now people are coming in.
So, what?
Now people are buying their players.
But I'm just wondering if they can continue that, bearing in mind they have an excellent young manager that they've brought in. You wouldn't want to pull the rug from under his feet, would you?
No. Going back...
That was my Brighton spiel.
I know, I was waiting for your
You knew that was coming,
I knew it was coming.
Do you know who else? I don't know what you think, boys. Do you know who I think is really underrated at Brighton? Lewis Dunk.
There we go. Right. I'm going to move on from Brighton because I don't care about Lewis Dunk.
Why?
So, in case you don't know the context of Stewart Robson's relationship with Arsenal, he played, of course...
He hasn't got one.
He, of course, played with Arsenal and then went and worked for Arsenal TV when Arsene Wenger was in charge, and then was asked not to work for Arsenal TV anymore because of some of the comments that he made.
Well, you got it wrong straight away, Dan. You got it wrong straight away.
Sorry.
What happened was Arsenal came to me and said, we hear you, we like what you do for us, but we hear you on other channels and you criticised Arsene Wenger. Can you not do that? I said, well, you're about a tenth of my workload.
Wow.
And I'm not going to change and lie for you just so that I can be Mr. Pro Arsenal. So I, in the end, decided that it wasn't right for me to work for them. So it was my choice, not theirs at the time.
Now, without blowing smoke here, to Robbo.
Yes.
I've known Robbo for many a year.
Right.
And this is the thing with this job. Robbo does not shirk his responsibilities to call a situation out or anything. And it winds me up in these club channels. And by the way, a lot of networks, and particularly in the UK, a lot of networks seem to have turned into parodies of the club channels, where they hire pundits who are basically cheerleaders.
Yes.
And they've all got their own team, and they sit there and scream and shout when their supposed team is winning or losing. And it's just my opinion, but that's completely the wrong way to do this job. It's not if you work for Arsenal TV or Man City TV or Chelsea TV. That's fine. Your level of criticism will only be accepted to a certain extent. You have to understand that. So for anybody who does the job like we do, club channels are not for us.
Right.
They're just not for us. And I tell you what, I wouldn't change that for a minute, because I couldn't sit there kissing backsides like these club channels do. And quite frankly, some of these pundits now on these networks in the UK who sit there and they're basically sitting with their Man City, Man United, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea scarves on when there's a broadcast on.
Well, here's an example.
God.
Here's an example of what we're talking about. A little while ago, I think it was Gary Neville and Martin Tyler did a commentary on an Arsenal game, and they said Arsenal had bottled it, or whatever they said. And a former Arsenal player who works for other TV channels said that they should never ever work on Arsenal games again because they were biased against Arsenal.
Martin Keown was that, Robbo? Was that
rubbish.
Martin Keown who said that, Robbo?
Well, yes, that's exactly who it was.
Oh, there you are. We may as well name
there's somebody
names
that's on TV that doesn't like anybody else having a go at Arsenal. Well, that's biased commentating. That's biased reporting. You can't be that if you're going to be on TV.
Oh, we've got started.
Well, goodness, we haven't even got to the question. We were just setting up the question.
Well, it's ridiculous now, isn't it?
Kieran, how aware are the players? Like, this is the question. What did the Arsenal dressing room really think of Robbo's feud with Arsene Wenger? Were you even aware of it?
What year was it?
When was it, Robbo?
It was when you lost the title to. Now we were top
Leicester.
of the table in February, and no, I think it was before. It might have been before you were playing. Gold Clichy made the mistake at Birmingham when Eduardo had his leg broken.
2008.
Oh,
Arsenal
I
were top of the
wasn't
table.
playing, so I wasn't in the first team then, so I can't.
Yeah, and at the time I was writing for the Sunday Telegraph, and my editor said to me, "Why did Arsenal lose the title? You know, because they were 5 points clear, they were going to win the title, and they fell apart." And I said exactly what I thought, that Arsene Wenger was the problem. He didn't do enough work defensively. They didn't do this. Anyway, whatever I said, and that was when it all started.
Wow. Was he right, Kieran? Did
Interesting.
Arsene not do enough work defensively?
Nah, there were a few other things that went on that season. I think was that the season was that the leg break season from Eduardo?
That was a leg break. Gallus had a tantrum against Birmingham. There was all sorts of things. They didn't win a game for 7 matches after that.
Started on Arsenal now.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, I mean, listen, there was definitely a few other things that happened that season that would have affected them not winning the title, but you know, there's no excuses, and sure, you're entitled to your opinion. So I agree with Craig.
And the thing about Kieran Gibbs, I mean, what a player he was at Wimbledon's youth team. That's where he really made his name, at Wimbledon's youth team.
Oh, wow.
That's where he started off.
Did you coach? You didn't coach him then, Robbo, no?
I didn't coach him, no.
Ah, that's why he was good.
Fans are
What
only
was it, the under-12s, under-11, under-12s, under-13s, Kieran?
Yeah, nailed it.
Wow.
Just before they changed to MK Dons, and then I couldn't do the travelling anymore.
And your twin brother was a good player as well, wasn't he?
He was. He came with me to Arsenal at 14, and then he moved to Leyton Orient. He played at Aldershot and Dover, and then he kind of fell out of the game.
Oh, look at Robbo, memory like an elephant.
If you don't mind,
Robbo, that's unbelievable from you.
And you had a midfield player who also went to Arsenal with you that didn't quite make it. What was his name? The central midfield player was an aggressive little midfield player.
James Dunn.
James Dunn, that's his name, yeah. Everyone talked about him being a good player. Never quite did it, did he?
Let's go watch the golf. These two to it.
I've already got the coal on the barbecue. You two are chit-chatting away about some player from MK Dons 15 years ago, whatever it was.
Kieran, how much attention would you pay? Like, we've talked about this before, like numbers in the paper the day after, you're rating out of 10.
I mean, every player was different. So I wasn't aware of the Robbo feud, but obviously when the Arsenal Fan TV started to come into play.
Oh, yeah.
It was probably, I don't even know when that was now, what years they really started. That reached the dressing room. With a few players, and like Hector Bellerin come out and spoke about them. But I mean, for a lot of players at that time, it was just, we already knew the pressures that we were under anyway. We didn't really need to see, that was my opinion anyway, I didn't really need to see anyone actually saying it on TV. I was a player that was always aware of, the pressures of playing for a big club, and if you don't perform, that people aren't going to be happy.
Okay, from that to Craig, have you ever tried battered pizza? I did a student exchange programme in St Andrews and we had it after a long night out.
I've not actually. I've heard of it.
So this is literally
to be honest with you, I'm more of a connoisseur.
This is a pizza that's been deep fried in fat.
This is a pizza that you're probably having when you've had a really good night out.
Okay.
And you've got
and to celebrate, you have a battered
well,
pizza.
when you have a really good night out and you've had maybe one or two drinks too many and you go for some fast food.
Yes.
But I'm not exactly sure what a battered pizza is.
It's just supposed to be deep fried pizza.
Yeah, I think
like a Mars bar.
Yeah, I think the pizza goes in the fryer along with the same fryer as the fries.
Yes.
Which is just oil.
Yep. Okay. Next question. Now,
it's not a pizza that you batter.
Kieran, it must be said you've made quite an impression on this show since you've joined, because you've influenced one of our pundits in certainly his fashion. Because since you,
do you know what?
Since you've been here, look.
I was actually going to say that when I first came on. I was like, Craig, I'm really impressed, man.
That's the next question.
Really
Give Kieran and Robbo rate Craig's new T-shirt and jacket look.
What's wrong with?
I've got to say, the jacket's lovely. The T-shirt just needs pulling down a bit. You want to hide that Eddie Kelly just slightly, Craig. You just did that. Yeah, there we go. That's all right. Yeah, no, very stylish.
Too many battered pizzas.
Too many battered pizzas, exactly.
That's a bit of Cockney rhyme there.
Mate, if you come in with Kieran's earring next, that'd be amazing.
Show me the earring. I'm going to...
He's got his little dangly one. Is it a dangly cross, Kieran?
No, it's just a hoop, but I'm definitely gonna take Craig shopping when I come back out.
Oh wow, look at that at West Farms.
I've already been. I'm loaded up for the year.
Robbo and Ian Dart used to go to West Farms shopping together.
The other thing is,
don't ever. Do you remember that shirt that Ian Dart bought? That cowboy shirt.
Yes, I do remember that. Yeah.
I've ever seen in my life. He got so much stick for it, didn't he?
The one thing I would say, with the on-air talent here that are actually in Bristol, not the boys.
Yep.
It is a very low bar when it comes to the fashion.
It's very true.
And I mean low. Lower than a caterpillar's belly. So there's not a lot to beat. So when I went a bit of shopping, I thought, you know what, I can get down with it. All right,
I might get down with it. Oh my God.
All right, I might need to get the belly in a bit, Robbo. I know that, but you know, it's all bought and paid
get
for.
Get yourself on that rower. Come on,
I'm still light.
I'm on the light beers. I'm trying.
A few words about Martin Tyler, Craig and Robbo. Any stories of the voice of football? Well, Robert, you worked with him a lot, even recently, yeah? By the way, Martin Tyler hasn't died. He's just not going to work for Sky anymore.
He's finished with Sky. He's going to work elsewhere, I'm sure of that. I'll probably be doing the Community Shield with him come August the 8th. I think we've arranged to do that.
Is it Manchester City against Manchester City B? Who's playing in that, Robert?
Oh, I have no idea who's going to be playing in it, but what you will know is that Martin Tyler and myself will be on in the gantry doing the game, as we've done for the last sort of 20 years, I think.
Is it not the FA Cup runners-up that play the league winners?
Yes, yeah.
So it's Man United again?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
I think so.
I don't think anybody cares if I've got it wrong.
No, it's August the 8th.
I'm good with it. Did you mind?
What's that?
I think it's the Premier League runners-up.
The Premier League. Oh, who's that? There you go.
All right. Okay, I have it in good authority that I'm just about to book an earring piercing.
Oh, really?
An ear piercing.
Perfect. Go to West.
In fact, I tell you what, I'm tough. I'll do it myself. I'll do it myself tonight.
After some... Cheryl, come here. Get that needle.
Hold on. How many beers have I had? 10. Right, give me that potato. That's how they used to do it.
What, they shoved a potato in your ear?
No, you get a potato behind it, you ice it up.
Right.
Don't do this at home,
don't do
folks.
this at home,
Don't do this
please.
at home.
No.
And then, bosh, through. Don't go too far. I'll get Stevie to do it.
No. Imagine how much Cheryl would enjoy doing that. Right, ready? All those years of marriage.
I don't need that big a
All
piercing.
that frustration coming out on your ear. That'd be good.
Sorry, Stuart.
Yeah, the amount of rubbish that Craig talks, they could put one through his tongue. That would be even better, wouldn't it?
Oh, yes.
Arsene Wenger was right about him. Told you.
For Robbo, what's the best way to disagree with Gab when you're on the Gab and Jules show?
Best way to... You can't disagree with Gab because he just talks over you. You've got no chance. When he gives you the quick hits, he says, these are the quick hits we're going to do. They're all things you know nothing about, but he does. He knows everything about them. So
Right.
You say, well, they're not a bad side, and then he goes and tells you how good they really are and what's going on there.
Yeah.
So you can't interrupt him at all. You can't argue with him. It's the Gab show, really.
Kieran,
There's no fee big enough, is there, really?
No.
I'm presuming Robbo's getting paid to go on there.
Of course he is.
Part as a contract.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be a usage, wouldn't it?
Is that a usage? Don't go on it? I mean, you can always...
It is a usage, yeah. It is a usage.
Yep, good to know. Kieran, who's closer to winning the Premier League, Liverpool or Manchester United?
Currently, I would still say Liverpool. I just think they've had a real bad season.
Yeah.
But I think they'll be back next season.
Mainly
But I
because
still
of Trent,
think-
Kieran. Trent was the problem for the season, I'd say.
Yeah.
United by Kane.
Yeah, well, they're not going to buy Kane, are
There
they?
you go. It's the end of that.
That's the end of that. Robbo, who lasts longer? Postecoglou at Spurs or Pochettino at Chelsea?
Oh dear, that's a difficult one. I'd like to think that they will both have a long time at their clubs. Spurs need a bit of continuity. Postecoglou has done a brilliant job where most places he's been, so hopefully he does quite well. Pochettino, I think his job is going to be very hard. Great coach, seems a good bloke, good man manager. Chelsea's a strange club, as Craig would know. I don't think it's going to end particularly well for him over the next couple of years. So I'm going to say Pochettino will go first.
Okay.
I wonder if... why you kind of smirked when that question was that because of the pronunciation?
No.
Or was somebody telling you something in your ear?
No.
I think...
Who's the biggest bottler?
Obviously not.
Kieran, who's the biggest bottler of the season? Arsenal, Dortmund or Italian teams in cup finals?
Oh, it's got to be Dortmund.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's got to be Dortmund.
Yeah.
Got to be Dortmund after that last game.
They should change their name to the Dortmund Bottlers. That would go down well.
How do you say bottlers in German?
The big yellow sponge behind the goal, not the ball, the big yellow, big bunches.
Final question, of course, the most important question. Robbo, who's going to win the Ashes?
I think Australia will win the Ashes,
of course you do.
to be honest.
Negative.
So
They will. I think
anti-England
they're-
and
So-
everything, Robbo. Who are you supporting in the Ashes?
No, I'm supporting England, of course I am, but I think that...
We don't support England
their
in
approach
football
is great
matches.
and it's exciting, but I think Australia at the moment are the best team in the cricketing world, in Test cricket, and they're going to prove that over the 5 tests, unfortunately.
That's because cricket is not the sport we're talking about, and he's not supporting England because he's got an object. Why am I being nice to Robbo?
Kieran, do you care about cricket?
No, I'm not a cricket man.
What stage are we at?
Man. And we're at the second day of the first series of the Ashes. It's very finely poised.
So
Yesterday was
I used to
brilliant.
watch a bit of it.
Yes.
And I don't mind a bit of cricket. I haven't watched it for years. But the Ashes is the best of 3 or best of 5?
Best of 5. Best of 5, and it's really close. It's difficult to call. So Ben Stokes has come in and brought this new brand of cricket, very attacking, very exciting.
He's a captain now.
He's the captain, exactly. Australia have come in. They've just beaten India in like the World Series. It's brilliant. It's very good. Very good. Final.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, where are they playing this test?
It's Edgbaston, isn't it, Robbo?
It's Edgbaston.
Yes.
He's waiting for it to go to Trent Bridge, then he'll join in.
Well,
Craig.
exactly. Then he'll Airbnb his house.
Then what?
Get some money for it.
Yeah, let me know when it's at Trent Bridge. I've got a... No, I wouldn't do it. Is Stewart Broad still playing for them?
Yes, he was brilliant.
Yeah.
He got out Warner today.
Didn't buy my house when I moved.
I know.
Came to see my house, didn't buy it.
Wow.
Came with his mum. Nah, not having it.
There we go.
I wanted to take his dollars.
Who do you want to win the golf today? Or tomorrow?
Tomorrow, I don't mind. Actually, you know what? I won for a story. I was a bit betwixt and between last week with Tommy Fleetwood, who I think is great, and Nick Taylor in Canada.
That was last week.
Yes, but I'm a bit between this because I like most golfers, but I enjoy watching McIlroy. But there's a Ricky Fowler story.
Yes, he's been for those people who don't know, Ricky Fowler, good youngster, rubbish for a long time.
Well, no, a bit of a poster boy for the American young golfers, still is to an extent, fashionable dresser, great golfer, won the Players, won some other big tournaments, hasn't won a major and went off the boil for a long period, was down to 176 in the world rankings, is now back playing well again and is leading, so I'm betwixt in between. Right. See, no anti-Americanism here.
No, that's true.
Because that's what you get accused of that, bias. Just don't like.
It's bias, that is it.
Kind of Fowler and McIlroy.
When are you in next?
Monday.
We look forward to the hoop hearing on display. I'm going to
go the whole hog. I'm going to call up Mr. T.
Call up Mr. T.
Mr. T from the A-team.
I'm going back now.
Yeah. Well, I've got big friends.
1980s now.
I'm big friends with B.A. Baracus, so I'm going to get the big chain.
Oh, yeah. Do you know what Mr. T is, Kieran?
Yeah, of course I know Mr. T.
By the way, I've not modelled myself on him.
Oh, no, it's just a coincidence.
No, Frank LeBoeuf.
Frank LeBoeuf.
But he's got the turtleneck.
He's got the turtleneck plus the shoe deal. He'd be wearing those specific shoes.
Yeah, I'm wearing the cheap ones.
Yeah, there you
I
go.
can get my leg up just about.
Right, beautiful, good to know. That's it. Thank you very much, guys. Apparently that was a show. We will be back tomorrow to reflect on the Nations League final. Oh, Croatia against Spain. Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.